Episode 107, Media Relations Common Sense.
Welcome to the PR Playbook Podcast, the only podcast giving you actionable skills and advice you need to execute a strategic PR program. Warning: what you hear next may lead to brand awareness and increased sales and customer exposure. Now here's your host, Rinjini Joshua.
Hello and welcome to episode 107. Today we're going to talk about media relations common sense. And this came up with the PR professional conversation I had last week with somebody else and wondering why sometimes our clients just don't understand. There are some best practices, some common sense to work out when you're talking to media. And so I wanted to go over those kind of key things today in our podcast, hoping that in the next media interview you do or the media interaction that you just have a better sense, an understanding of how to work with the media. So there are a few things that kind of, I guess, are pet peeves of us PR people when we're working with media that just kind of make us look bad. And so you don't want your PR person to look bad in the eyes of media, especially if they're representing you. And by association, you might be looking bad with your PR agency and or with the media if you have to keep rescheduling or you're not collaborative in this effort to kind of get media relations. So here are a few things. First thing, provide feedback within 24 hours of a media opportunity. What this basically means is if your PR agency comes to you and says, hey, we have this interview lined up for you, here are the dates, can you please get back to us and confirm as soon as possible? As soon as possible is 24 hours. The sooner, the better. The media attention span is similar to that of a child. Not saying that their attention span is, but the news changes so quickly. So if they're interested in something, we're scrambling to get answers as quickly as possible so you are on the calendar. Our job is to get you on the calendar as quick as possible. So please, if your media or PR team comes to you and says, hey, look, we have an interview for you, get back to them within 24 hours or give them access to your calendar or create a Calendly link or something like that so that they can provide feedback and get the meeting or interview scheduled as soon as possible. Number two, when you're in a media interview or having a media interaction, this could be like an email Q&A now a lot these days, a podcast, a phone interview, add value to what's already been discussed. So this meaning that your PR person probably already pitched a particular topic. So once the PR person pitched a topic, or maybe they're pitching a press release, don't just review the same exact stuff that they've already told you. And your PR person is responsible for giving you some talking points and say, hey, expand on this. But we also rely on the CEO or the executive or the spokesperson to have a little sense of understanding, well, just don't reiterate what's already been told to the media reporter, but expand on it, add value, give context, depth, and insights as it relates to trends. Try not to be so self-absorbed as far as organizationally, and really put whatever the news is, the press release, the pitch angle, in the bigger context of the industry. So add value. This leads me into don't self-promote. You go into an interview and you're promoting the company, they're already interviewing you. They're already interested in what you do. So instead of promoting the company from a marketing perspective, don't promote your taglines. Don't try to sell the reporter. What you're trying to do is educate the reporter. And that's usually what these media interviews tend to be is an education platform where you can educate them on what's going on in the industry, what's going on with your company, and how your company is meeting the needs of the industry. So don't self-promote, be educational. The more you can do this, the more you're going to be seen as a qualified, credible, authentic resource, and the more they'll come back to you. Be on time and available. Now, this is a big pain point. It happens to pretty every client we've ever had. They miss something, they forget something, and of course, it's our job to keep you guys on track. However, as a professional in working in the industry, we do expect that once you commit to an interview, you show up. Prioritize your PR interviews. That's one thing that I can't say enough is that you may not get this chance again. Rescheduling is okay sometimes if you have to, but this should be a priority. PR should be a priority. Branding should be a priority because it's your reputation that's at stake. So make sure that you're showing up to your interviews on time. I dare I say 5 minutes early, and be prepared for that interview. Your PR team should be preparing you with a briefing document or at least going over the notes of the meeting with you in advance. And then you should be ready to know what you're going to say, what you're going to deliver, what your call to action is going to be, what your goals are for that particular interview. So make sure that you are on time and available for the meeting when you say you are. So that's aside from the 24-hour feedback of scheduling, show up. Show up. And then the last but not least is just make sure that you're willing to commit time to PR. I think a lot of companies and CEOs maybe go into the PR activity thinking that, okay, I've hired a PR agency, they're going to take care of everything. We're going to take care of pitching you. We're going to take care of connecting you with media opportunities. We're going to take care of making sure the right messaging and branding and the right images are out there on the internet or in print or and facilitating things. But we are not magicians. So you do have to collaborate and provide time. Your expertise comes from you. We cannot make that up. And I think that's one really essential thing to remember is that you are the experts, we are the facilitators. And so make sure that you're willing to give your PR team at least, or not even your PR team, maybe your marketing team to relay to your PR team, but give PR at least 1 hour of your time every week to brainstorm ideas, review the opportunities, provide input, look at trends. If you are talking to your sales team about new things, you should include your PR team because that might actually be relevant to the way they're pitching the media as well. I can't emphasize enough how sales is connected to PR, and the way you sell to your customers is probably very similar to the way the media is going to want to have to present you. So remember to have those conversations with your PR team as well, or at least relay them to your marketing team and PR team to make sure that that's communicated in the messaging. So, your media common sense. Going back, I've got these 5 tips. Make sure you get back to whoever's scheduling your media interview within 24 hours. Make sure they have access to you so that they can actually facilitate that response in 24 hours. Number 2, when you're in a media interview, add value. Say more than what's already been shared. 3, don't self promote. So, while of course you're talking about your company, be more educational. Self promotions for marketing and advertising. Be more educational. Talk about bigger industry trends and how you tie into those. 4, be on time and available for interviews. Once you've committed, stay committed, be available. You can't expect your PR team to work miracles without you. If you want to be interviewed, you're going to have to be available to be interviewed. And last but not least, commit your time to PR. Give a little bit of time every week to PR if you're going to commit to this process. And I think everyone should do a little bit of PR every week. So I think it's very important to make sure that you're, setting aside an hour a week to even at least evaluate what you're doing. But I think it's quite important to keep an eye on your brand reputation and know where you want yourself to be seen and read about. So hopefully this helps you guys have more common sense when you're working with the media and PR moving forward in this episode of Media Common Sense. And have a great week. I hope this helps out.